What's up, Timmy?
What's going on?
Not much. Thought I'd have you over tonight.
What are we doing?
Talking about the 2024 season.
Formula One?
I believe we've called
course.
this the post-season scrutineering. How'd you like that title?
That's good. I keep getting
Came out with that
confused
myself, to be
in our
honest.
conversations about pre and post season.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
I don't know
why
how.
do they have to make those words so similar?
Yeah.
Pre and
So
post.
we're doing the post season 24 debrief prior to the pre-season 25 debrief. which
Yeah,
we'll
we're not here to
another
talk
day.
about 2025.
No, just prefacing the situation.
I just want to make sure you understand that.
I understand. I got my notes in front of me. They're 2024 specific.
Good.
Don't you worry.
How'd you find the 24 season as a whole?
Yeah, it was good. Last half was better than the first half.
Less
First-
Max dominant.
Yeah, which is what we're after, generally, I think. First half was definitely a carry-on from the 23 season, but then things started to turn around generally. And
What do you think was your favorite race? Like, is there a race that's, if you're thinking about the 24 season, what's standing out for you?
see, it's tough, right? Because I want to say OP's first win, but that was such a shit fight McLaren turned that into, that I kind of want to go Baku,
Yeah.
but I was watching it on my phone.
You were
on
watching
holidays.
Baku on your phone?
Yeah, because I was on holidays.
Jesus.
I was laying in bed watching on my phone, and I'm pretty sure I slept through most of it. But I know
Actually, I
we won.
remember, yeah, because I was messaging you because I was hype as fuck.
Mm. Yeah,
Crickets.
yeah.
I knew you were asleep.
I was asleep, slept through it, but
Little bitch.
knowing, because I slept through it, so I didn't watch it live, but knowing what happened makes me feel more comfortable than, because I did watch Hungary, but yeah, McLaren ruined that for him a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'd say, to answer your question, I'd say the Baku Oscar race stand out.
Definitely a highlight. I actually think the standout moment for me was Monza.
The
when
pass.
The pass.
The pass.
And like that whole race, I was legit like,
Well,
holy fuck,
who's
we're
the
about
true
to see.
who's the true Oscar fan? I picked a winner. You picked a loser.
Yeah, but Azerbaijan was like tense, man. That was a stressful watch.
Monza or Azerbaijan?
Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
That was a
Well,
stressful watch.
I don't remember. But he fought for that win. He didn't win Monza.
No, he
I
didn't
watched
win
that
Monza.
race.
He should have won Monza.
Leclerc pulled a rabbit out
we'll
of the
get
hat
to
to
that.
win that bloody one.
We'll get to that.
Will we? One day?
That's in my notes. I don't know about your notes. Don't copy my notes.
I don't know how in depth you've gotten here. We'll see.
Well, I certainly don't have a fucking book.
You just got a bunch of Oscar notes? Is that what this is?
I only want to talk
Is
about
this
Oscar.
is this the Oscar pod?
I'm only here to talk about Oscar.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, no cheating, all right?
If you bring up Dylan again,
I haven't brought him up yet.
we've given him like a couple of minutes
But
here.
you just wait.
I will get on the Dylan bandwagon when he wins a GP, and even
That is
then,
ridiculous. Why?
and even then,
You were on the Oscar.
I don't know if I have enough love
Please.
to split between him and Oscar.
You were an Oscar fanboy well before he ever got a win, when Daniel Ricciardo
true.
was still in the sport.
Yeah, but I knew Ricciardo was on his way out, and I need
That's a pathetic
I need a
excuse.
reason to watch.
Pathetic.
Like
All right, whatever.
F1 is far more interesting to me if I have someone to legitimately barrack for, and Oscar was, I was on straight away. I was signed on.
All right. If you keep up these Will Buxton takes, I don't know if we can continue.
All right, let's get into it, shall we?
Round one. Player one. Ready. Player two. Ready. Fight. McLaren.
Guess who I'm starting with?
It wouldn't be Oscar, would it?
It is.
Okay. Get him.
His progress. The progress of the future world champion Oscar Piastri in his second year. Not bad. It's looking good.
It's good. It's I got some.
I'm hyped.
Well, I'm hyped. I think we're all hyped.
Good.
I think this year's going to be a great year. Let's not get to 25. I apologise for that. That was a misstep. Last year was a good year. So I got some stats here for you. I did some numbers.
All right. Let me hear him.
Well, I googled some numbers.
All right.
Yeah, use a bit of AI to help me out. So in 23, Oscar achieved 97 points. 24, he got 292.
Right.
That is a 201% improvement year on year.
I'll take that.
Good, right?
Yeah.
The team, so McLaren, they had a 120.5% increase year on year.
Okay.
So my brain tells me that Oscar is 80% better year on year. So the car improvement is 120. His personal improvement is 200%.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know if that works out, but in my head, my brain, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Take the car away. His year on year improvement
Mm-hmm.
is 80% better.
His performance from 2023 to 2024
Yeah.
was an 80% increase, is what you're saying.
Outside of
Okay.
the car.
Right.
So like it was 200%,
Yeah.
but the car year on year is 120% better.
Right. Okay.
So you take the difference.
Right. This is incredibly confusing and complex.
Makes sense.
I just
and
want to talk
makes
about
sense to
cars
me.
going in circles, man.
I've got proof here that he was better outside of just your eyeballs,
Well, the point
which
system,
are pretty.
the point system
old.
alone
I'm using the
proves
point
that.
system. Yeah, but you got to take how much was the car and how much was the driver.
Okay. Okay.
Alright.
Fair. Yep. Fair enough.
You're getting a bit older these days. I know you can't understand these things.
Okay. Well, the only thing that concerns me here is in the teammate battle,
Hmm.
Lando won 8-16, and in the qualifying battle, Lando won 4-20.
Right. Is there a point here?
There is a point there.
Are you saying Lando's better?
Well, I mean, he's certainly not better in my books. You know, I'm not really much of a Lando fan. However, that doesn't sound much like 80% performance increase.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about Oscar.
Yeah.
I didn't do Lando's because I couldn't be bothered.
Well, if you're talking about overall responsibility for that uptick in performance.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Obviously.
All right, good.
I'm
just
saying
checking,
the
I'm just
car,
checking.
like Lando was obviously in his, 5th, 6th season last year, whatever, 23. So his improvement was always going to be less incremental because as a driver, he's already adapted to the car.
Yeah.
So his performance should be
But really,
in line with the team.
well, they're really the only team that doesn't prioritize a driver over another,
No,
at least
so
until a certain point.
If I did the maths, which again I don't want to because it's Lando and I've got minimal time for him.
I certainly don't trust your math.
I'll use Google. All right. I used a bit of AI. So anyway,
Yeah.
I reckon, and I should have done the maths because it would have made this better, but 120% team improvement.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been interesting to see if Lando's was around 120% to show driver and team
If they were
in
at
line with the
same-
car, in
yeah,
tune
okay.
it with each other, has that type of
Well, next time, can you do that?
influx.
Like,
Next time. I hope there's not next time for that. You know, I felt like that was a good way to present the situation.
yeah, okay. All right. Well, here's what I have. Something that you're probably very familiar with, I have no doubt. Oscar's 2024 season was much alike a ruined orgasm. So
We're going there already?
we get it's my best take.
All right. I apologize. Continue.
Will you just let me explain?
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez. Okay, so he had a win at Budapest, but that was tarnished by Lando's bullshit. Lost at Monza due to Ferrari accidentally winning with Leclerc. With their whole
Yeah, whoops.
let's pit later. Actually, let's not pit.
Yeah.
Hey, we
Whoops,
might actually
made the
win
tyres
this.
work.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue on. Yes. I'm aware.
Handed over his sprint win in Brazil, which like Brazil is such an iconic track. Like if you have a chance to win at Brazil,
Yeah.
like,
Eh,
you want to win at Brazil.
it's,
hand it over.
it's a sprint win.
So, yeah, fair.
Bit
Due
of
to
bit of boo-boo
papaya
there.
rules.
Yeah.
And then accepted a sprint win in Qatar from Lando.
Yeah, because everyone
paying
knew.
the favour.
Yeah, everyone knew his race season was over.
Yep.
Or Fumble McGee.
Sure.
Did it again.
Yep. And then getting taken out in Abu Dhabi by Verstappen, keeping him off the podium celebrations, which in turn made Lando look like the hero.
Uh-huh.
Every time he was about to like hit a climactic situation, or he did, bang, took a kick to the nuts for it.
Sheesh, that was a roundabout way of getting it. I appreciate it.
I knew you liked
the
that one.
appreciate the
You do like real
concept.
orgasms, so I knew you'd like it.
Well, I don't get many. But yeah. Well, guess you're right.
Look, aside from that, I mean, the season was good overall, right? We his second year, and he helps deliver McLaren a constructors championship.
He was
Like
an-
that is
He was an integral part to McLaren getting
Yeah.
over the line.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If he didn't have that improvement, if he didn't have that massive step forward, I mean, we know he dominated the European section of the season.
Yeah, he came away with the most points, didn't he?
Yeah. So, and he only backed off the throttle a bit once it became clear the team was leaning Lando's way heavily. So,
Eventually, when it became clear, took him a while. Took him a while to figure it out, but sure. It's funny to think that McLaren hadn't won a Constructors' Championship since 1998, before Piastri was born.
Yeah. Such an iconic team to go that long. I mean, all the iconic teams are going through it, really. Williams is nowhere. Ferrari's been years as well. So I guess it is the trend.
It's all been Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yeah.
Kind of sick of it.
Yeah. Very much sick of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a bit of a Ferrari resurgence.
Yeah, it's funny. Like everyone's a little bit of a Ferrari fan, right?
A little bit. You got a bit of love for the red.
Like if
For the
Leclerc
Tifosi.
was to win it, you wouldn't be mad. You'd be happy for Ferrari.
No.
You'd be happy for him.
And he's a good character.
Yeah.
Like, if Norris was to win, not a good character, a bit of a sport brat, not too interested in that whole situation. Even bias aside,
Yeah.
for OP, regardless, his character's no good, right?
Yeah.
Whereas someone like Charles, like, come on, you can't hate the dude.
No, you can't. But I was just going to say, outside of Lando v Max, which is, well, I mean, that was probably the most interesting battle last year. I'd say outside of that, the Oscar v Charles battle was probably the next most thrilling. Like, they had so many good head-to-head battles throughout the season. Even if it wasn't necessarily for first, if it was for second or third, their caliber of racing was one of the best to watch. And I think that's going to be one of the most interesting things to watch over the span of their careers. Them going head-to-head, fighting for race wins and championships. I think they're going to be two very big... Well, I think that's going to be one of the best rivalries.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they're on like a slightly different timeline, but not too far apart.
No.
They'll definitely...
but there always seems to be... It always seems to
continue
fall
through
into
together.
someone who has a bit of experience and then
Yeah.
a new guy coming through who's like...
Yeah. I guess that
pressuring.
could even be seen the case with Hamilton and Verstappen.
Yep.
Like, yeah,
For sure.
I guess. I mean, Hamilton was definitely a lot more progressed than Charles for this comparison, but yeah, Verstappen was definitely the young fella trying to take it away from the big boy.
So, over the course of his season, 8 podiums, 2 wins, 1 sprint win, and 23 point finishes. I actually didn't realize that he finished in the points every single round, bar 1.
We're talking
Oscar. That's impressive. Like, I think the wins...
That's naturally impressive, yeah.
Yeah, like, I think it all shows... To me, it's showing the narrative of, like, this guy has world championship caliber DNA in
Oh,
him.
100%. Well,
He's got the consistency. He can get the wins. He's only in his second year. He's driving a car that's not built for him. It was built for someone else, and he's adapting to it, getting his head around it. I think that 2024 was a very good taste of things to come.
yeah. Well, so, you know, most people are going to be aware, he finished every racing lap this year.
Yeah, 100% strike
Yeah.
rate. Yep.
You know the 3 other drivers to do that?
Verstappen, Hamilton, and who was the 4th?
Maxi Pad.
Mm-hmm.
Those years that they did that,
Verstappen, Hamilton, and who? Schumacher.
yeah, but did you say Schumacher first?
No.
Oh,
Jeez, what are your ears painted?
terrible guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, I thought better of you.
I was like, wait, Verstappen and Maxi Pad.
No, I just naturally thought you'd say Schumacher. You're such a big fan.
Am I?
Are you? I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see.
Anyway,
But
continue with your thought.
those 3, Schumacher, Hamilton, Max, all are the only drivers to ever do it, and they all were world champions those years that they did it.
Yeah.
Which makes Oscar the first person to do it and not become world champion yet. But that just proves your theory that he is on a champion's course.
Yeah, I mean, that's a elite company to be in, right? Yeah.
Literally, the three goats hands down to the 20th century. I wouldn't put Max in the overall GOAT conversation because I don't want to.
Mm.
But of the 20th century, like it's those three, 100%. Yeah. And Vettel, I guess, but you know.
It was a joy to watch. Do you want to move on to his teammate, Lando? We kind of have to.
I guess it's our job.
Yeah. Did he have a legitimate chance at the Drivers' Championship? And did he drop the ball?
No, didn't have a legitimate chance.
I don't think so.
What ball did he drop? Like, he was hemorrhaging points until Miami. And then at Miami and after, the gap was consistent. Like, it was the media that was driving this hype that he was
Naturally.
in with a shot.
Yeah.
And sucked McLaren in,
Yeah.
I guess. But, like, come on.
Very
like,
much did suck McLaren in. I mean,
Yeah.
they won the Constructors, so they definitely were competitive
well,
on some level. But
hats off to Sergio. Like, great job.
yeah.
But other than that, like, yeah, he was none with a shot. I mean, isn't it hilarious to think back to Singapore where, you know, Daniel Ricciardo gets the fastest lap and it just, that's it now. Max can just come second every
If it comes
Grand
down
Prix.
to 1 point,
Yeah,
like
he's
Daniel,
got it. He's a big moment.
Yeah.
And then Max was probably the better driver after that. Like,
Well, I was just going to say it took until Miami to get his first win of the season and, in fact, his career. And by then, it was already too late.
You know, it was helped. My memory serves correctly. It was helped by a virtual safety car.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? You have to take advantage of any opportunities you get.
100%.
And Max is very good at doing that. Lando, at this point, doesn't seem to be very good at doing
No,
that.
I mean, you can qualify in pole, and it means you jackass to his bloody race. Like,
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows about his issues of, you know, not being able to convert poles into race wins.
yeah.
That was definitely the narrative of
He can't turn
2024.
poles into leads into turn one. Like,
No, yeah.
jeez.
So I think, I don't think he ever had a legitimate shot. I think by the time that narrative was being formed, it was already far too late. Like, Max had such a dominant start to the season that the damage was already done. By Miami's like round 6? Like, that's nuts. Like, a quarter into the season, it was basically already like, all right, it's Max's season.
He just had to steady the ship from there on out, did Max.
And he did. Like that, I mean, Max definitely showed his experience as a 3-time world champion at that point.
I mean, it's funny. The Brazilian Grand Prix was the epitome of the entire season. I mean, it's almost the moment of the entire season, if you would ask me. Like, after that safety car, when Max, at the exact same time, Max is passing for the lead while Lando is skating off the track.
Yeah.
Like, that moment there is why Max is a 4-time world champion.
Yeah.
That move. And that's why Lando just failed miserably to do it this year. Well, or to get even close. Like, he almost lost third. Like, we're talking about could he have snatched the win? Like, he almost lost, second. He almost lost second in the championship.
Yeah.
Like, that's how far off he was. That Charles was effectively just as close to Max at the end. Like,
That's true. I mean, Ferrari were right there breathing down McLaren's
100%.
necks and Lando's neck.
like, it shows the power of the media. That does.
Yeah. So I think Lambisi, which is Max's engineer.
I don't trust you.
Yeah. I didn't double check it, so
Yeah.
don't trust me.
I
Said
don't
it
think
best.
anyone will question you.
Do you remember in Austria when they were battling
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
and they were sort of going head to head and all this
Yep.
hoopla was going on? Lambisi chimes in with not clever, is it? I think those words for me sum up Lando's F1 campaign in 2024. I
Yeah.
think he had opportunities and moments where he could have seized any missteps or mistakes that Verstappen suffered, and he just didn't. Like, how many, like, even you want to get, like, we can take it all the way up to Brazil. Like, how does Verstappen go from 17th to win that race and Lando
Like, all Lando had
not
to do.
capitalize on even that
Yeah. Even
advantage?
if Max came second, it's like, okay, he really did the best he could. But he shouldn't have had any chance at catching Lando.
No.
Like, that's the funny
No,
part. Is
like-
that Lando didn't even come second. He came bloody, what, fifth or something? Like,
yeah.
sixth with six. Like, come on, man. Like,
And if my memory serves me correct, Oscar had to relinquish his position for him once
probably.
again at some point.
probably.
But
I mean,
anyway, he definitely was never in it. is the point of the whole
No.
story, and it didn't really approach it in a clever way. Like,
If he was already a world champion or already had the nuts and bolts of a world champion, different story. If he knew how to put a season together, if you had put, a Hamilton or an Oscar Piastri in that seat, in that position, that points differential, different story.
yeah, I tend to agree.
Lando shows his inexperience in this realm to do anything with it. I mean, it might be a learning year, and you might adapt and whatnot, but...
Well, they do say you have to lose one to win one, so...
You know, he didn't. Max.
Well, yeah, that's true. That is true. But is he the exception to the rule?
Could be. I mean, he got some luck on his side, but I've had enough Lando.
All right, let's move on to Ferrari. Everybody's...
Wait, I got one more.
Okay, go.
Because you cut some shit.
Sorry, go.
So,
Go.
I did get the maths earlier, I forgot. So, Lando's year-on-year improvement was 82.9%. His points improvement.
So
he actually underperformed the cars.
Based on where he was the previous year.
Yeah. No,
Right.
82.9% more points.
Yep.
But remember, the car had 120.5%. That's constructor.
Okay.
So he actually
Sounds
had
like
a less
some-
improvement than the car.
Sounds
So
like
that-
some crazy wackadoo
To
math
me,
you got going on there, but,
Yeah.
I'll trust you.
But that shows the importance of Oscar's improvement year on year, just to really cement the point home there. Since I did the maths, then I have to show it off.
By the way, I did my own math.
Why are you changing the page? You've only got little pages.
Yeah. But I got this
Oh,
graph.
sorry.
Because I'm the host,
I
I've got this
apologise.
graph here that, So I actually put together a table, which we'll throw up on the screen here.
Chris, don't forget.
Yeah, get on that, Chris. Basically, it is a breakdown of what each driver made, what their salary was for the year, compared to how many points they made. So breaking down the efficiency of what each driver cost per point made.
Right. So what they get. So you're breaking their salary down, divided into points. How much is a point worth?
Yep.
How much the team paid the driver for the point they produced. Okay.
Yeah, and not including bonuses and all that sort of shit.
Just base.
Just base wage.
I'm sure your numbers are factual off Wikipedia and
Very hard to find accurate contract information. All that stuff, surprisingly, is very confidential.
yeah. Surprised.
So it's take it with a grain of salt.
I appreciate it. Let's get through it.
We
you got?
won't go through all of it.
Okay.
I'll bring it up.
Don't want to spoil the.
No.
I understand.
Well, there's some good eye-opening stuff in
Yeah.
there. But
I'm looking forward to it.
but
get on with it.
what I did want to mention is Oscar Piastri is actually the most underpaid driver on the grid in terms of what he's been paid for his output.
Do you see the
Now-
shock on my face?
You just look dead.
Exactly. I ain't shocked by that.
You don't look any different.
No.
So, according to sources,
See above.
see above, Oscar was paid $6 million to race for McLaren last year.
It's more than I got paid.
Yeah, I mean, 6 million sounds tiny when it's compared to, max on 55
Is this
million.
euros or Australian dollars?
This is USD. Yeah.
US dollars.
Yeah, I went to convert it to Australian, but then it was just way too many numbers. So USD kept
So
it
the
all
contracts
night.
are pretty neat in US.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
More legible, So anyway,
I'll pretend I understand these numbers then.
if you could
6
shut the
million
fuck
sounds
up for a
like
second.
Right. I apologize.
Oscar cost McLaren $21,000 per point earned. That is nuts. In comparison,
And that's the best, is it?
that is the best. He was the most efficient driver on the grid.
What was... No, I'll let you... You
No, go with the question.
I was going to say who was the worst, but I guess we'll get there, and I don't want to spoil your presentation.
Okay, we'll save that for
We'll save
later
it.
then.
Just do a comparison at the end so we can get a true vibe for the differential there.
Yeah, okay, fine. I host the fucking show. All right, just calm down.
I just want to make sure it's on the right tracks here, all right?
Lando,
Yeah.
53,000 per point, fifth most efficient. So McLaren, they're getting two drivers that are over delivering
Yeah.
for what they're being paid.
Sounds like the cheapskates.
McLaren, Zach Brown, he's a businessman. He's smart.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But
Wait, what's
there is a lot-
Lando's... What's his apparent contract worth?
20 mil.
He sounds
I mean,
overpaid.
How many? I don't follow his career too closely because I just don't really care that much. But how many seasons has he been in F1 now? Like 5? Is it more than 5?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway.
it's probably
20 mil. Like
Yeah.
he is the third highest paid driver. Yep. So that's
Is he
kind
the
of
third
he's
highest
the
paid
third
driver?
highest paid driver.
20 million.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. So like I guess that kind of puts things in perspective. That maybe
It's pretty good that he's the third highest driver paid and the fifth,
most efficient.
if that's the word you're using.
Yeah. That's the word I got written down here.
Okay.
Whereas like Oscar, I mean, I don't want to go through all the math here. Like I'm trying to figure it out, but Oscar is one of the lowest paid drivers on the grid for the most efficient. So
Yeah.
Case in
Hey,
point.
what's Lance Stroll get paid?
He's, you know what? We'll get to him. We'll get to him.
You're keeping me blue.
We'll get to him.
All right, well, come on.
Red Bull.
Was it a mistake not dropping Perez mid-season? Duh would be the answer.
Yeah.
But do you want to elaborate?
Was a mistake dropping? Well, yes. He not only did they not drop him, they signed him a 2-year extension,
Paid him more money.
and then were forced to then void it.
yeah.
I think it just goes to show the incompetence from within that organisation. But actually, I'll save it for later. I was about to take a dig at Dr. Helmet, but I'll keep it.
Okay.
Keep it under wraps.
Well,
yeah.
for later on in
For
the Red
later
Bull
on, yeah.
segment.
Let's not forget there's multiple teams under this
Okay. that's all right.
scheme.
All right.
But yeah,
Well, you do. I mean, I think I know where you're sort of going with it. And it's funny how like cutthroat Red Bull are with their drivers,
Yeah.
but they weren't with Perez.
no.
And
Well-
it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like the only thing that I can logically put it down to is Perez must have Christian Horner's dick pics, right? Those alleged dick pics.
Yeah, maybe send it to the wrong Surge.
How how else does he keep his seat with his performance that he put in last year? I mean, as an example, one thing I actually didn't realize, he had 4 podiums out of the first 5 races. So he started the season,
But he does that. He starts. It's like last
but
year.
he was
the-
doing what he had to do, right? That's what he's
Yeah,
there to
well,
do.
yeah.
Be on the podium.
Yeah, that's
We
what
don't
I mean.
care
Like,
where, just be on the podium.
that's what he was sort of doing the last couple of years. Is the first couple of rounds he kind of goes toe to toe with Max a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Max reminds him who's daddy around here and puts him down. And
So-
we move on.
I'm not saying that's a surprising thing. I'm saying we kind of forget that at the beginning of the season, 4 out of 5 podiums, he was doing what he needed to do.
Yeah.
After round 5, not a single podium again. He never saw
Yeah.
those steps again.
It's crazy. Well, to peek behind the curtain a little bit, we were watching some highlights just before the season overall, and I was shocked to see Suzuka. He qualified second. Like
Yeah.
that. Just glancing that, I was like, "Wow, that's shocking."
It's-
Obviously, it didn't
doesn't feel
transpire
like-
to nothing. But the fact that if you told me in the last little bit of the season he was good enough to qualify second, blows my mind.
Yeah, Wouldn't
But-
believed you.
So I've continued my theme here with this math situation, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Perez
Mm-hmm.
had a 187.5% deficit to Max in points. That's huge.
Yeah, wow.
That's the
I mean, it cost them the
highest.
constructors, didn't it?
Yeah, that's the highest on the grid, highest differential between two teammates on the grid. That car, at worst, was the third best car, and at best, it was the fastest car.
Sure.
And he went and got himself 187.5% behind Max.
The drop-off was steep, wasn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's really hard to even put down what it was. Like, I mean, I know there was a lot of narrative around the car's not what it was, but I don't know if I believe that entirely because, like, Max still had a lot of success throughout the whole season. He might not have been as dominant in the second half of the season as he was in the first half, but he still had race wins, podiums, collected points consistently. He still had a decent car. He still managed the situation to see him through
But world champion.
to...
I mean, I said to you while the season was progressing and the first couple of races where it's like, I think Red Bull don't have the pace. I said to you, I think the proof is Perez's drop off. Like, all of a sudden, he can't get that car into the 10. So don't mind Verstappen can't get a win. Like, he might still be coming second and third, and everyone's
Sure.
like, is it the car? It's like, well, yes, it's the car, because Perez lost the ability to just get a point now. Like, I think that was when it was like, all right, the car has a real problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think that the car obviously going a bit cold on them, that Max was just able to handle the situation better and like maybe Perez just sort of checked out a bit more? Like just even if Look, what'd you say? The car at worst was third fastest.
The third fastest car at worst.
So you'd think
It was still better than the Mercedes.
well, that's the thing, and he wasn't outperforming the Mercs.
No, but that's the that's the skill level difference between the two.
Mhm.
Like, think of 23 when Max was just gone,
Yeah.
and Perez was, I reckon if you look back, he's not a consistent second place finisher.
Mm.
Like his skill level is not up to scratch enough. Where even with undoubtedly the best car, he's still stuck battling in the pack.
It's kind of a scary thought, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know if it shows that Max is just godlike or if Sergio is really
I think
unimpressive.
Yeah, look, I actually think it's a bit of both. I think it's scary to think that Max is that godlike because if Red Bull just do enough to deliver him a decent enough car, it's like, do we ever see him not dominate F1 in this era? Is that a possibility?
This era's nearly over, so
Yeah, is it though?
we've got to talk regs to regs, but
all right. Well, since you're doing your little thing of like percentage, blah blah blah, where do you think Sergio rated in terms of efficiency in his cost per point?
Well, I know because I've got some numbers here. I know we got 152 points. I'm not going to do any kind of math, so I'm still going to just assume he's probably like 15th.
15th efficient,
Mm.
7th. So he was only costing Red Bull 92,000 per point. So he's on one of the higher contracts.
What's his contract?
14 mil, alleged. So he's on one of the higher contracts, but he's still got 152 points, which leveled him out to be one of the more efficient drivers on the grid. So I think it just, I don't know,
Again,
if anything, it just
You're
highlights.
talking about the best car, some up close to the best car, the car that won the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, what's his earnings?
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Jumping the gun. I apologize.
You want to talk about Max now? Let's talk about Max
No,
now.
I'm ready. I'm always happy to move on from Serge.
That's true.
Just like Red Bull.
Just like
ready.
Red Bull.
I'm
Yep.
ready.
Very abruptly,
Yeah. I'm
but
ready.
with maybe a little bit of afterthought.
They had to make sure the pics were deleted. Phone was gone,
Yeah.
destroyed through some kind of.
Okay, so in terms of Max, was 2024 his peak, do you think? Kind of comes off what you're saying a little bit, but I don't know. Has he reached the ceiling?
Potentially.
Or is there more ceiling to go?
I reckon it could be his peak. He's like Red Bull are showing cracks for the first time in a decade.
I agree.
Like this is the first time since like the last regs. They obviously struggled, but since they got their head wrapped around it and all the rest of it, this is the first time they're starting to falter.
Yep.
I mean, as soon as like this year we had Adrian Newey leave. Yeah, Horner can't keep his dick in his pants. We had Max. Like he was at a point last season and earlier this season that he was sim racing till 4 a.m. Like he was that detached. It was that easy for him, and now he's showing signs of a Max we used to see. We used to see this wild and desperate Max with his moves and the stuff we've seen this year is stuff of old.
It definitely was. I mean, like I had that noted down as well. Like that some of the old sloppiness and hysteria that we've seen from him when he's put under a little bit of pressure, it's crept back into his drive this year. Like just with some of the maneuvers that he was maybe making on track, some of his, let's call it radio etiquette, was getting a little bit, know.
I mean, his own
wild.
engineer, what race was it? Where his own engineer was telling him effectively, like, I think it was the Mexico when he was just racking up these 10-second penalties and he's complaining on the radio, and his engineer's just like, man, like that's enough.
Had to just put him in his place a little bit.
I mean, he
even snuck in a cheeky little clash with Hamilton at one point too.
Like, just bring back the memories, old times. Like he did this year. Like he had a champions drive this year. He held on to that 60-point buffer after it started to get a bit hairy. And we got a lot of new talent coming in. Like we've had more than a quarter of the grid refresh. Obviously, Oscar's on the way up. Lando's getting prepared to take him on. A couple of the drivers moving around, important drivers, important teams.
Yeah.
I could see next year. I mean, next year, not to get too much into it, but I could see a new world champion next year. And then who knows what the new regs bring. Could bring him a car that he just doesn't want to play with. He's at that point of his career. He's done enough. He could be like, you know what? I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I'll go do bloody rally like every other F1 driver gets bored of F1.
That's true.
They could either retire,
just sim rig
or Red Bull
racing champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I wish. Or the Red Bull's just simply not up to scratch for him.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely don't look as polished as what they typically do.
No.
But
it's been a long time
he's still
since...
found a way to maximize any opportunities that came his way
100%.
to see him out to the end of the season and secure his fourth. And that puts him in elite company.
Yeah.
Like 4 in a row, that's pretty nuts. That doesn't happen often. I mean, Hamilton didn't even achieve 4 in a row.
Did he? No.
No, he didn't. No. Nope. I'll let you do the math in your head whilst you do that.
Yeah, okay, no, you're right.
I would actually say that if we were to award who had the best drive in the season, Max in Brazil. Going from P17
easily.
to P1, masterclass, great race. That was possibly one of the best races of the season.
I just did the maths. I got to cut you off. So you said Hamilton didn't do 4 in a row?
No.
He did. 17, 18, 19, 20.
Did he?
Yeah. 16 was Rosberg, 21 was Maxi.
Okay.
So, you sent me a challenge. Couldn't
Can we
resist.
move on, please?
Yeah, I'm happy to move on. Now that I got my point across.
Okay, so final question for Red Bull. How much of their downturn of form was due to Newi's gardening leave? Do you think? I have no doubt it would have destabilized the team to some degree.
The thing is, like, he was the leading engineer. So, like, not only did he design the chassis, he would have been leading the R&D path. Like, the way Formula 1 goes is you're constantly doing R&D on these cars. You're constantly developing. You're constantly, like, race to race, you have to. So, yeah, I reckon it's got to be down to that. Whether their R&D was in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
It wasn't, their new designs weren't lining up with the underpinning concept of the car. It's got to be, has to be that related. Is that the car? If they went back to whatever was before Miami with the car at the end of the year, maybe it was just as good. But hey, the rest of the competition, with their nice steady ships and their nice engineering teams that don't ditch halfway, continue to progress their cars, and Red Bull just left behind because they're just went up for it.
I have no doubt it would have destabilized them to some degree, but I actually think that we won't see the full effect of his departure until this year. I think this year will be the true telling of how much of a positive impact he was having.
I think this year they'll still have a bit of a carry on. I reckon they'll struggle, but I reckon the new regs, like, they haven't built a car without Newey. I don't know when he joined the team, but since they've been competitive.
Oh, it's been a long time. He's been
since
with Red
they've
Bull,
been competitive and in the hunt, they've never built a car without Newey, a set of new regs, especially. So now, at least next year's car is going to be similar to this year's. Like, and they struggled with that, but at least they've still got.
But you said it yourself, right? Like, you got to be making small adjustments and
that's what I
improving
mean.
race
But
to
they've
race.
still got his idea of this chassis. They might be struggling with it, but at least they've still got that. Whereas the new regs come.
See, but I guess the question is, does anyone understand that chassis as well as what he
and
did?
I don't reckon. Maybe he wasn't sharing his secrets to the boys.
Probably not.
Maybe he's got the blueprints under his arms,
Yeah, I have no doubt. Going into the season, he probably knew that he was going to be moving on.
Yeah, if it's money related, I'm sure he was pretty well aware of what the books look like.
Yeah. So, yeah, he probably wasn't sharing vital information with key figures.
Just like they put him on gardening leave, he probably put the team on gardening leave without telling them.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's very similar to 09, the way the season played out, where Button just dominant lead, the car starts not get developed, just hang on for dear life to the end.
Yeah.
The only difference is I don't think Red Bull was short of money.
No, they weren't strapped for cash, were they?
No, I don't think so. I think Perez's sponsors are paying the bills handsomely.
Yeah. So Verstappen's cost per point, 126,000.
Mhm.
So his contract is worth 55 mil.
So he's the highest paid.
He
Is
is
he?
the highest paid, and makes sense, right? Makes him the 10th most efficient driver, right in the middle
So
there.
he's overpaid.
He's
He doesn't need all that money. He's accumulating enough points, and he's still costing the team a lot of money.
technically overpaid, yeah,
Crazy.
technically. And like that's not even getting into the whole bonuses and all that shit.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we know he would have pocketed a lot of
Absolutely.
money from bonuses. Sponsorships is a whole nother thing.
Sponsorship,
But
yeah.
Red Bull might be just overpaying
Yeah.
for Max there.
I mean, I'm sure if they
As
had to pay
ridiculous
him,
as
I'm
that
sure
sounds.
he'd be happy to go look for another team.
Well, I
on the
mean,
market.
how much is Aston Martin about to... I don't want to step on 2025 too much. Or
Do you have some kind of
2026.
intel? Or
but you know,
let me know.
if the rumors are true, if he potentially
Well,
is making a switch...
You know, as we know, drivers don't fall under the budget cap, so I'm sure Lawrence Stroll, his pocket's pretty deep. Hopefully, he empties a couple of mil out of Lance's pocket and
then we'll see
adds
what
that to the
overpaying
kitty.
really
and-
is.
Yeah,
All right, let's move on to Mercedes.
overpaid and inefficient is what we'll find out when he goes to Aston Martin.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be racking up 450 points.
No.
Are we? What did you say, Aston Martin? Are we just not doing Ferrari, or did I miss something?
No, sorry. Didn't I say Mercedes?
Either way, we're not doing Ferrari.
We were done. Did we not do Ferrari?
No.
Ferrari.
Okay, so probably the number one question is, does Sainz deserve to lose his seat?
I don't think anybody thinks he deserved to lose his seat.
No. Poor guy.
I think even
he's been chased out of teams his whole career.
I'm surprised Daniel Ricciardo didn't get the seat after he
Yeah.
vacated it. No, well, more maths for you, believe it or not. Carlos,
Yep.
accumulated 18.5 less points than Charles.
Yep.
That's the second closest teammate battle.
Behind who?
We'll get there,
Yeah, okay.
but it's Mercedes.
Okay.
So, yeah, he was
Well,
the
that makes
closest to his
sense, yeah.
teammate as anyone besides Mercedes had got. I'm sure you'll run through the stats, but they were very close through the season with
Yep.
their DNFs and their wins and whatnot.
Definitely one of the most consistent teams as well. Like, it wasn't like they really didn't DNF or have
Yeah.
no points finishes.
There's
often.
a couple, they both had 2 DNFs. Carlos decided to go and get appendicitis.
Yep.
So he got a DNS,
Yep.
which Ollie picked up some points, but Carlos didn't, which didn't help. Carlos had 2 wins. Charles had 2 wins, but Charles also had 2 additional non-points finishes. So effectively, I guess you'd say, Charles had 1 more non-points finish than Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
Both had equal wins, so Charles was just a little bit more consistently up towards the top end of the points scale to achieve that differential.
Yep.
But overall, no, Sainz didn't deserve to lose a seat. I mean, come on. I mean, I understand the law that Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, if
brings-
Hamilton's on offer,
You don't.
you trade in Sainz for Hamilton.
No, if Michael
you can't be
Jordan's on
upset
the
by
bench, like, you're bringing him in.
Yeah.
I don't care who's playing for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Sorry, Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
But we're gonna bring MJ in now.
Yeah. So I hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
You've done well. You've done well and all. Appreciate your efforts, but fuck off.
Yeah.
But Hamilton, sorry
yeah.
to butt you in.
Okay.
This is the other risk they play.
You keep
Doesn't
cooking.
play well with fast teammates, historically.
Mm.
So that's
Are
the
you
risk.
stepping on 2025 here?
I
Yeah,
apologize.
just
I
back
just
it
had
up
to
a
say
little.
it. I
Just
had to
back it
say
up.
it because that's a big risk. You know,
Oh,
we're talking about.
Shut your dirty mouth.
All right, I'm just saying.
We're talking about Carlos.
Carlos lost
Yeah.
his car and he's done.
Yeah, look, I feel sorry for him. I mean, if you think about the driver pairings that Ferrari have had since their last Constructors Championship win, which was in 2008, there has been some elite names. You've had Vettel, you've had Raikkonen, you've had like even Massa. Like he wasn't a world
absolutely.
champion, but he was a multiple.
They should have been
Definitely according to him.
legally, according to him.
Legally. Alonso,
Yeah.
you know, he had a stint in Ferrari. Like
Absolutely.
there is some elite drivers that went through that seat, and the best they've ever been able to achieve is second, and Sainz helped them achieve that same feat.
Yeah.
And he's not a world champion driver.
No.
He got his first GP
That's
win.
what I mean. He
as well
perfect number 2.
with Ferrari.
He understood he was number 2. He understood Charles is the red man. But
It is, and I guess that's the thing, right? Like if you think about it in that context, bringing in a driver like Hamilton, and again, if you have the option, you got to do it.
absolutely,
You got to do
it's Sir Lewis Hamilton,
it. Yeah,
7-time champion.
Yeah.
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
it's kind of like what the Mavs should have done with Luca. You don't trade away a
you
prime
ask,
Luca.
You ask Toto. He was happy to do it. Oh, Lewis, you saved us so much effort.
Yeah,
We didn't know what we are gonna do. Thanks for walking.
yeah, yeah. Mercedes, you do feel like Mercedes dropped the ball on that one, but
Yeah.
regardless, I do feel for Sainz. I mean, he's delivered. I feel like he's delivered for Ferrari. He's been there when Charles hasn't.
Yeah.
They just missed the constructors. Like,
And no
if
one
just-
would have picked them to even be that close.
no, I
pre-season.
mean, if
they
they
had a real good run at Bradburying it at the end.
yeah, and if just one or two things went differently, they win the constructors. And like Ferrari still make boneheaded decisions, and that will cost them. And they got to delete that shit out of
Hasn't been
there.
that bad lately.
It hasn't been, but it's still not that good either. They've still had the occasional pit stop mishap or calling him and then late, not being ready, and just Ferrari.
Well,
done
they
for
tried to
everything,
stuff
but
up Monza, but
They tried their hardest.
yeah, that came good for them.
So yeah, I think he's a bit hard done by.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I guess the counter of that is Leclerc's win at Monaco and Monza enough to justify his seat with Ferrari? Do you think? I mean, he's been with them for a few seasons.
Yeah, no, he's protected species at Maranello. He's not going anywhere.
No.
But naturally, when a win at Monza and a Ferrari, that's like
If you're not winning a drivers' championship
it
or
doesn't matter what.
constructors, that's your third best.
There's no other. Well, I think it beats the constructors.
no
I think
way.
if you were to speak to
Ferrari taking a constructors win
some,
over
no, I don't think so.
those
But
two.
for the money reasons, sure. But I think for the legacy, no one remembers the freaking constructors. Like, no. I think his win at there's no better pairing than a Ferrari win at Monza. No other team has. Red Bull wins at the bloody Red Bull Ring. No one cares. Like,
That's true.
it's the Ferrari winning at Monza. Like the way that Tifosi just bombard underneath the podium there at the end, like it gives you chills watching that shit.
Yeah,
and
like,
he's done it twice.
I guess as an Australian, not having had the
We've never had an Aussie win
privilege,
here.
yeah, of having an Aussie driver win the home Grand Prix,
Or be on the podium officially.
you do know how hard, how rare that is, but just how euphoric that moment would be as a fan as well as a driver. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Is
the exception would be Hamilton, Silverstone, because he just fucking does it every year, basically.
exactly.
It's not special anymore. It's just like
No, and that track.
it'd be strange if he did win it. You'd be like,
Yeah, and it's the same. You don't get the same sensation from the crowd.
No.
I don't know if the track's not as like close, like you know what I mean. Like what you see in Monza, it's special, and they do it every year. Even if Ferrari don't win, but when Ferrari win, it's just nuts, and you don't get that same sensation at Silverstone.
well, it's probably the same thing with Monaco. Like Monaco, granted, isn't the most exciting race to win, but
I'm sure it's exciting
If
to
your
win. It's just not
driver-
exciting to watch.
well, that's the thing. Like for a driver to win that, and if it's your driver, like if Oscar won, I mean, Ricciardo won it, and we know what that's like. But if Oscar was to win Monaco this year, you'd be pretty stoked.
Absolutely.
That would be the race of the year for you, just straight up.
100%.
So those two races for sure, they're special. Probably does go a long way in justifying his seat as a Ferrari driver for sure.
Like a seat that's never in question, but
No.
it's huge. Like as far as jewels in the crown, those two for that team and driver, like it doesn't get bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so huge.
So do you think Ferrari missed an opportunity to win the Constructors' Championship then?
I think they would have been given a gift if they were to have won it. I mean, Oscar got taken out and they still couldn't win it.
Yeah.
Lando finally learnt how to lead from pole.
Yeah.
Sucks for them. Sucks for Ferrari.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They're always the underdog. I don't think they ever thought they were in contention for it. I mean, Charles qualified nowhere. like had a penalty or whatever, and then stuffed quali up while he was at it.
Yep.
The fact, like, it feels like every driver did what they needed to do to win their title. Lando started from pole, converted. Oscar had some issues, came back and got points. And the two Ferraris came second and third. Like, they did all they could do. You know what I mean? Like, without some killer move, I don't reckon they're never a genuine chance.
No, I mean, like, look, it was a good season. They had some great battles, some great moments. I think it was, again, I would put that season with that driver pairing up against any since their last taste of success. Yeah, for sure.
Well, they've absolutely been the closest.
Yeah.
Like when Vettel was good, Charles wasn't quite there yet. And then they transitioned over and Vettel was struggling as an old timer.
Oh, yeah. Boy,
and Charles was coming through. So,
yeah. So I think, I do think that, look, there's nowhere for them to go, right? Except for number one constructor. So I think the pressure's now on for him for 2025. Like we've seen what they can do without Hamilton, with a driver pairing of Leclerc and Sainz. Now you add Hamilton in there.
It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Like, I reckon they've put the rest of the grid on notice for sure.
So in terms of cost per point, the best tracking stat we have here.
Yeah. Whatever.
Charles Leclerc, $96,000 per point. Made him the 8th most efficient driver.
Yeah, what's his contract?
He is the second highest paid driver on 34 mil.
God, the gap is 21 million between those two.
Pretty nuts, eh? And then Carlos. Oh, Carlos. A little bit blue collar he is. 12 mil. So he makes double what Piastri makes.
That's right.
Granted, he's been on the paddock for a while.
Oh, Sainz is a vet. He should be. He's a well-respected vet around the.
He is. He's got a lot of experience with every team.
Yeah.
He only finished 2 points under Piastri. It was close. It was touch and go between those two.
Yeah. Okay.
And like if you think about Abu Dhabi and Piastri getting spun around by Verstappen, that almost cost him third.
Yeah.
In the fourth in the drivers' championship. So
that would have been a real bummer. Would have been a real shame to lose fourth.
It'll go on spoken about for generations. But his cost per point, 41,000. Now Ferrari are good for the money.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about money.
I think Formula One have made sure of that.
Yeah. But he is
all their legacy payments and whatnot.
He is doubly efficient compared to Leclerc.
Doubly efficient.
Doubly efficient.
Okay.
You heard it here first. Can we move on for Ferrari now?
I'm more than happy to. I've seen a lot of red today.
Okay, good.
Mercedes.
Was Hamilton's preseason announcement to leave the Mercedes seat an error?
Yes.
Tell me why.
If you give your wife 12 months notice of a divorce, do you think she'll care for you?
I don't know. It depends on how good you are.
Not that good, apparently. No, it's obviously a mistake. I mean, straight away from the outset, they're going to be showing favoritism.
Yep.
Especially, well, not even especially, just as soon as it comes out. It's like every 50-50 call, every R&D component, where they've only got one of, like, just going to go George's way. Like, he's there. He's been their future for years. Like, since he's been there, since he was at Williams, he was Mercedes' future.
Yep.
And Hamilton just eased it in a little earlier. So I think for him, I don't think he was doing much this year anyway, or last year regardless, but I think...
to George?
No,
or
Lewis.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Like, I don't think it affected his performance, but I think as far as his, like, the team goes, how much they would have helped anything, I don't think it was a good call.
No. It was a misstep. I mean, it's a weird season. Like, when you actually break it down, it's just strange. Like, none of it really makes sense. It's such an odd accumulation of like different events and things. So finishes lowest in his career. Now,
in the championship?
In the championship.
Wow.
Now it's 7th, right? So it's not like he had an atrocious season and he finished 12th or 13th. It's 7th. It could have been worse, right? Nonetheless, it was his lowest ever finishing in a driver's championship. However, he still managed 2 wins That's 2 more wins than the previous 2 seasons combined. One of which
Yeah.
he finished 3rd.
Did he actually?
Yeah,
In one of the last 2 years.
he finished 3rd. So it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And I
That's
think
crazy.
it comes down to 2 things. I think it's
That's a
one.
good pickup.
Yeah, I think it's one is thank you. This is why I host Box
Yeah.
Box
Well, you're
Banter
doing
and
something
you
right.
don't. Yep.
Continue.
I think part of it is things are more competitive than ever before. I think that shows like how many people are in it right now. It's not just him with the best driver, the best car, and he's just cruising.
Yeah.
I think now there's threats everywhere. There's fast cars and there's fast drivers.
Yeah.
So
And it helps that Max isn't taking all the wins.
yeah,
And the
it's
next
being
best
spread out.
couple of teams are pretty touch and go
Yeah.
at best. So there's more win shares. There's more opportunity where, yeah. I mean, no one would have got, like, there's plenty of multiple race wins this year.
Yeah.
And Lewis was one of them.
And like obviously he had but more basically all of his success through the turbo hybrid era. Since that change of regs, relatively no success.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, since they changed the bodywork regulations, the
The car struggled.
Yeah.
So I guess there's always that thing of, is it the car, is it the driver? It's both. It seems to me both. I think the car...
I mean, he's got to be, you'd assume he's past his prime. I mean, he's 18 years in the sport now, something like this.
This would be his 18th season, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's been around.
He's no Alonso, not yet.
No,
but,
he probably won't. No one, I don't think, will ever be. How he's still getting paid is beyond me, but
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, no, he's it's probably a bit of both, but I think the car more than anything. I mean, the year-on-year effect from 21 to 22 is proof of that.
Yep.
They came out with the radical like side podless design, and then stuck with it for however long, and then put side pods back on it like a Formula One car, and it just continued to just struggle. You know, so it's probably like gotten lost in the R&D path with that. Like, just haven't been able to get control of their horsey.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd put it down to he probably shouldn't have announced at the beginning of the season that he's changing ships.
No, not a smart call, I don't think.
No, but then I think as well with his performance issues and the car's performance issues, it was just a nasty cocktail. He was always going to be in for a long season, and I think it made a dreadful season even worse. So
yeah. It was getting a little bit nasty at the end, talking about potential getting him out of the car early and all sorts.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was whinging, bitching, moaning, wanted to park the car, retire. Not things that you'd expect to hear from a 7-time world champion, that's for sure. And then...
I feel like we've somewhat come accustomed to him getting upset when he's not up for a point to finish and wanting to retire the car.
It's very, very Hamilton, and we saw that ugly head rear.
Bit precious he can be.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, personal favourite highlight of mine was Toto absolutely flaming him over the radio
in Abu Dhabi.
in Abu Dhabi after his qualifying performance.
Just to
Only
find out.
then to see it was a bollard.
He had a Hulk attack and threw a bollard at him.
Yeah. So I think it's just that was definitely like a full stop on their season and their relationship. That it was done, dusted. See you later.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So do you think George was legitimately the better driver then? Or he just was purely benefiting from favoritism? How much of it do you think was...
I don't think anyone has said George is the better driver ever.
Especially over Hamilton, right?
Over anyone.
Yeah.
I don't think he's... Yeah. No, I think Hamilton had a very much down year. And... Yeah, he was... George... One driver announces, hey, I'm leaving you guys. And the other driver, like I said, is their future. I think it's pretty clear where they're going to be supporting.
Yeah.
So even with all the support of the Germans and everything from Mercedes, and he has a whopping 9.8% point differential over Hamilton, which is the closest of all the teams on the grid.
Well, it makes sense, right? They finished 6th and 7th. Yeah. So, checks out. Yeah. Your math checks out there.
It does make sense.
Yeah, you're doing something right.
So, yeah, Lewis was able to stay right there with him. Let's see here. 22 points behind.
Yep.
Russell.
Yep.
that's less than a Grand Prix win over 24 races. That's nothing.
Yeah.
It's less than a point a race, even though Mercedes would just everything would have been going towards George.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got this new Wang. We've only got two. We've only got one here, George.
Yeah.
Oh, a bit of a strat issue. This one's we'll give you the benefit of the strat. Like everything would have been going towards George, 100%, and he wasn't able to really push away from Lewis still.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean the true test is really, I think, going to come in 2025, right?
Well, he's lucky. He's got a rookie next to him. Keeps his ego in check for a little bit.
Lucky. We'll see.
Lucky for him for next year.
Yeah.
Because the year after that, new regs might throw things up.
He might be in a bit of trouble over there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. His ego will be safe for next year.
Yeah. Okay, so since you're doing your little fancy graph table thing,
I've got no graph and table. I just got some percentages and some numbers here. It's all right.
it's sort of there in your little book. Where do you think Hamilton stacked up in his efficiency?
I don't know. I'm not seeing any trends here.
No. Well, he's the second highest paid driver on 45 mil, so 10 mil less than Verstappen.
What's he complaining about? Honestly?
Yeah, I mean, is it really that much of a burden to drive the car?
Yeah. You're in your 18th year or 17th year, getting paid 45 milli to drive a car. Not a great car. Drive a car.
Fast.
Yeah.
Yep. $202,000 per point. Put him 14th.
14th most efficient.
Yeah.
That's pretty low.
Yeah.
Pretty low for a 7-time world champion.
George, 18 mil. So he's getting paid a lot of money to be in that Merc. $73,000 per dollars per point. So it's 6th most efficient. So quite a margin there. Makes sense. I mean, you got a 7-time world champion in one seat. You got a 0-time world champion in the other seat. I would actually almost say that George he's probably been a little bit overpaid for his output.
Yeah. I mean, what's he done? He come in as the regs changed to dropped into a worse car.
A piece of shit car. He went from a slow Williams to a slow Merc. Like, you do feel for the guy a little bit.
I don't. But yeah, he I'd say he's overpaid. What's he say? 16 mil? What's that rank him?
18 mil.
What's that rank him?
I don't know. It's
only 20 drivers. What?
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Are you counting?
Looks like 4th. Oh no, 5th. He's behind.
That's ridiculous. That he's the 5th highest paid driver. Where did he finish in the championship? 6th? Wow, that sounds overpaid to me. Sounds like someone's pulling their weight, Mr. Piastri.
Yeah, things are starting to
up in 4th.
Yeah. All right, let's get off Merc.
Aston Martin.
Have we seen the true performance of this car, do you think?
What if Lawrence Stroll thinks that? Or wonders that?
Well, he's certainly throwing a shit ton of money at it.
Yeah. Although Fernando's a true racer and a legend, he is an elder statesman, and he hasn't been in a competitive car for a decade, since his Ferrari years. It's been 10 years, and it's been like almost 20 years since he's been world champ.
And one retirement and comeback.
Yeah. A little small indie stint.
Yeah.
As far as Stroll goes, he might just be giving his helmet and his suit up to a mechanic, Talladega Night style, for all we know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure the car is a masterclass of ours.
Yeah.
But we just don't know. There's no real driver in there for us to see.
They're just they're nothing about them for me is likable, and it's a shame because like there's so much opportunity to be just fantastic. They have one of the coolest car makers or manufacturers on the grid.
Plenty of money.
Yeah, you have a world champion driver for you. He's maybe decades removed from his prime at this point.
Yeah, we just don't know. That's the thing. Like, we saw a couple of years ago, his constant podium getter in that car. Like,
they had a glimmer for a minute
Yeah.
there. They had a glimmer where you're like, these guys might actually legitimately be contenders.
That's like Alonso's done over 400 Grand Prix. Like, you just don't know if he is still, like, he's still outperforming Stroll handsomely. It was outperforming most, like, it's a midfield pack. He's outperforming a lot of cars. You just don't know, if you need someone a bit more, potentially need someone a bit more relevant in there to see where the car's at.
Yeah, I think in terms of whether he's helping or hampering the team by taking up that seat, I see it as hampering. I think he needs to move on for the sake of the team. Doesn't seem like he wants to, and weirdly, it seems like the team doesn't want to move on from him.
Maybe his home life sucks.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, ultimately, what are they to gain by keeping Alonso on that seat? I think.
Shirt sales.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he needs to. I don't know. He's got to pay for the team somehow, right?
If Stroll's still on, if Lance Stroll's still driving, I don't want to hear about Alonso having to leave. Like,
yeah,
he is. Yeah.
That's a fair point. Like,
I mean, the fact is, Alonso's got a wealth of knowledge, but what's the team doing with it?
Well, it doesn't really appear to be anything.
Yeah,
I mean, they're in no man's land. They're not really competing with the top 4 constructors, but they're not down in the mud with Sauber.
Just right in the middle.
Yeah,
they've got all the money. Yeah, Smart's cool. Not that helps, but lots of good things going for them. They've got Alonso in the car, and they just can't get it together.
No. So, I mean, to go back on Stroll, do you think this guy really wants to be in Formula One? Does he strike you as a guy that wants to be in Formula One?
No, I don't. It's almost like he's
like, if we're talking about what does Alonso bring to the seat, what does Stroll bring to the seat? I mean, he's a buy-in driver. He's got
his daddy's money,
literally. But the dude doesn't even seem like he's having fun. He's not even enjoying it. There's plenty of trust fund babies in Formula One. There's plenty of money. You have to have money to be in Formula One. It's very few drivers that don't come from money and source it from elsewhere, whether it's through clever marketing or genuine talent. Probably most of the grid throughout history come from some sort of family money. But what is it about this guy?
He conducts himself like he'd prefer to be laying bricks for 6 days a week.
Yeah, like, it's the most bizarre thing. Like, what he's doing in Formula One is like every dude's dream. I would happily trade places for him. You would happily trade places with him. Yet, it appears to be his nightmare.
Oh, Dad's making me race this weekend.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he was so desperate to not race in a wet Brazilian Grand Prix that he beached the car before the beginning of the race. Like, when have you ever seen that? You can put it down to a boneheaded decision, a brain fart. Like, people can make just stupid decisions here and there, but that just there's no way to justify that. Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
He seems like the type of dude who'd love a wet Brazilian too.
That's why I put it in there. I knew you'd appreciate that one. Yeah, they're just kind of, they're almost the most irrelevant team because they're just not here or not there. It's just they're not changing anything. Obviously now they've thrown some money at Nui.
Nui?
Well, to finally do something about
Max Verstappen's next destination.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I'm saying. Like, the last couple of seasons, they just sort of got stagnant, and it was just like, what are we doing with this pairing?
Yeah, like I said, a couple of years ago, they were getting the podiums, but since then, it's just dropped off. Yeah. It's very strange.
So, let's go to the most important graph on the show. Cost per point. Lance Stroll. 3 million alleged he's been paid. Now,
how much?
3 million. Now,
front door money.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably a made up number. Like,
That's just pocket money. The real contract's
Yeah.
in the back pocket.
That's daddy giving him, go take the car for a spin. I'll give you $3 mil. $125,000 per point. However, stack that up against your mate, Fernando Alonso. They're paying him $18 million for a cost of $257,000 per point. Makes him 17th in the efficiency list.
There's only so much you can do. So, listen. Fernando outscored Lance by 65.7%. That is the second largest gap between teammates.
But who cares?
Fernando only scored 40
They're
points.
deep in the mid-pack.
Fernando only scored 40, yet he outperformed him by 65%.
But hang on. My thing says Fernando scored... Oh, yeah, but he outscored him by 40. Is that what you said? I've got...
Sorry.
Yeah. I've got him.
Yeah. So 70 points.
Yeah.
Aston Martin and 24 for... I don't know where I got 40 from. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No.
The fact is he scored 70 points and he outperformed
They're so
his
irrelevant,
teammate by
even you
65
can't read
points.
your own graph properly.
No, I don't know. It's your printer. It's printed it wrong.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, the fact is your graph is irrelevant because Fernando's clearly pulling the weight and he's getting paid for it.
Yeah.
So that's all I want to hear about. Tell me who the seat warmer is. Fernando, 70 points. Lance Stroll, 24 points.
Yeah, but Alonso doesn't have the luxury of his dad owning the team.
So tell me who the seat warmer is.
Well, they're both seat warming as far as I'm concerned. Everyone knows Lance doesn't actually genuinely deserve to be on the F1 grid. But my argument is Alonso doesn't deserve to be out there either.
Lance hates paid drivers.
All right, I don't want to talk about Aston Martin anymore.
You brought it up in the first place.
Alpine.
Hey, can you remind me what's an Alpine?
It's a car. It's Renault's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Renault's brand. They want to pretend that means something. So they
Okay, all right.
wasn't Renault so much cooler?
Why don't they go back to Renault?
Yeah, Renault's actually cool.
It actually is.
Cool Formula One legacy.
You know what?
Can we
you
just flick it right now? Just change it from Alpine to Renault.
Yep.
We can start the trend.
Renault.
Yep.
I'll chuck it up on the screen too.
Not Alpine. Renault.
Yeah, I like the way you think.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed as well is there's a lot of fucking blue on the grid. There's a lot of blue. Like, why? Why does every second car have to be blue? Literally. No one's yellow. Renault used to be yellow and black, and that car looked great.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Why did they move away from that? That is
From yellow?
just right.
Particularly?
Yeah. You
I
know,
don't know.
bring back Renault, bring back the yellow. Why they moved away from that? I don't know. But
What other yellow cars have there been?
anyway,
What's
I
the
know
question?
like Alpine have the pink thing going on, but pink and blue.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
So
Sounds like a shit question.
probably the most important question, according to you, because we know how much you love Jack Doohan.
Mm-hmm.
What was the best case scenario for him in his one Grand Prix race?
What exactly? What did
did
finish?
he do? So that was enough, according to you,
Yes. That was it.
to justify him getting that seat, keeping that seat for X amount of races.
Yes.
Okay.
What was he to do? Score points?
Yeah,
In
I
a
think
terrible Alpine in his first race and the last race of the year where Alpine probably told him, hey, can you please just not crash it?
See, I disagree because Alpine definitely had some form in the back end of the season. Gasly finished seventh.
One driver might have.
Gasly finished 7th in Abu Dhabi. I think he needed to either be in the points or right there with his teammate.
Ridiculous. No chance.
Look, chances are slim, but we know how competitive F1 is, and you've got to make the most of every opportunity. And if you look at that Abu Dhabi grid, it was all mixed up. There was drivers where they shouldn't fucking be. I have Stroll,
He was
Zhou.
also not racing for a contract. He already had this crappy
Yeah, but
little
it's alleged
contract.
that he's only got like
Yeah,
6 races.
5, but he already has that. No. He just had to finish. Just finish the race. Just prove he can finish the race. He was 7/10 in Q1 off P1.
Look, way too long ago for me to remember that kind of shit.
See,
but
I remember because I support.
because you love Jack Doohan, and that's fine.
I'm a true blue
That's
mate.
fine. Just want just want everyone to remember
If
that
you want to just
I'm-
shit all over an Aussie, then you do it in your
That's
own
not what
corner.
I'm doing at
Yeah,
all.
sounds like you are, and I don't understand.
I only have enough love for one person. Okay,
And that's why I'm on
this
the
is
pod with
this is why I can't have kids, because I could only love one kid. And
you.
that
Gotta have
kid,
one kid first,
yeah, that's true. That kid is
and
Oscar.
he'll be named as Oscar.
No, I couldn't do it. Oscar's like a dog name. So
So just real quick.
no.
Oh, mate.
Stroll,
Why are we
Zhao?
talking about Stroll?
Albon, and Hulkenberg all finished ahead of Jack Doohan. Don't you tell me that there was an opportunity there for him to pull out something significant. There was a
What was
chance
your
for him.
list? So Stroll.
Stroll, Zhao, Albon, Hulkenberg. All finished ahead of him.
Now, Zhao's the only one who probably shouldn't have been there. But, yeah, he's got 60, 70, 80 Grand Prix under his
Look,
belt.
It was good that he didn't crash.
I wish you weren't a hater.
I'm not a hater.
You're a hater.
It's good he didn't crash. I mean, Williams probably would have taken him on for that reason alone. Just get the car home,
Well, hey,
please.
You know who's under do you know which driver he's under threat from? Colapinto.
Just
So the
almost
bar
like-
was literally, don't crash,
yeah.
don't crash, don't crash, and you're
Huh.
sweet. Because
Fine.
this guy can crash.
I'm not-
Colapinto, he's proved he can crash.
I run this shit and I'm overruling you.
No, I don't like your take, but
All right, let's move on to Gasly. Definitely, I think one of the biggest talking points that came out of the season, him having a no damage run for the entire season. Do you think that's a sign of a good driver or a sign of a driver that's not pushing hard enough?
he's probably not pushing hard enough.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
And
Like, how can you go 24 rounds?
probably getting a bit of luck as well.
Yeah.
But it might have been like, it's hard. I was going to say, like, maybe towards the end of the season, he was conscious and aware of it. But that was the best run of his season. He got
Yeah.
four
Yeah.
of the last 5 races were points finishes. So that doesn't really add
doesn't
up, does
really, yeah.
it? I'm sure the team is stoked.
Mm.
I mean, they got rid of Ocon and they didn't have to spend any money on Pierre's car. Like, win-win.
You know who's really jealous?
Williams.
Those Williams mechanics.
They're putting
like,
their resumes in quick smart.
Yeah, they're like, that's where we want to go.
They just need an RDO at this point.
Yeah. The good thing is, coming into this season, I'm sure that they know that car like the back of their dick.
For the Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Are we moving on? I don't understand.
Okay, sorry.
You're getting ahead of
Sorry.
yourself. Calm down.
We'll go.
Are you done with Renault?
No.
Okay, well then just move on. I've got it.
I like how you called them Renault 2 and not Alpine.
Yeah. I'm onto this.
Okay, well, the only other thing I had noted down was Ocon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like talking about Ocon, so I'm happy to skim over it. But was he stinking up that Alpine race seat, do you think?
It seems that way.
Yeah.
But maybe on purpose, because he seemed pretty happy to leave. I think the team were pretty happy to send him off early too.
Mm.
It was good all round anyway. I mean, he got the future of Gold Coast royalty, Jack Doohan, in the seat early.
Yeah.
Gave him
We know how you love that.
an extra race under his belt,
Yeah.
throwing his repertoire. He
Look,
and
You're talking about Jack on a topic about Ocon. I think it says a lot.
of course I am. It's Ocon's car. He got to drive Ocon's car. How good?
I think it says a lot. You have a love affection for Jack. That's fine. But it also says that he's a boring driver in a boring team.
Team's boring.
I'm happy to move on.
But Ocon
I said I'm happy to move on.
Ocon scored 45.2% less points.
Are
than
you
his
bringing out your
French
graphic
teammate.
yet?
I did this for every team. So you think I'm not bringing it out?
Okay, fine. Continue.
6th highest differential. Doesn't mean much, but I had to keep that in there.
Wow, 6th highest. Wow.
Give us your shit. They're both probably overpaid and under efficient. So hurry up, get on with it.
Okay, so
I didn't have to get a graph.
what do you mean?
There's no graph. See a graph?
That's what I didn't know you got
That's
a
not a
little
graph.
cheat sheet there.
That's not a graph. That's just the.
That's embarrassing. That's what that is. That's
I don't
kinda,
need fancy graphs to
That's the
read.
level of work you're bringing to this.
I used your
Jesus.
printer. Of course it is.
Okay, so let's start with Dylan because apparently he got paid 500k, thereabouts, whatever. So let's move on.
Sounds like he's getting paid more than Oscar per race.
Look, I mean,
Wonder why that is.
yeah, true. Bring it down per race. Obviously, Alpine knows something that we don't.
He was even at the end of season drivers dinner.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Ocon apparently was getting 6 million, and Pierre was apparently getting 6 million. So interesting. Both drivers on.
Well, they're both French. It's very fence sitting of them.
Yeah, true. So apparently being paid the same, but Pierre scored 42 points, Ocon 23. So naturally, his Pierre's cost per point was pretty much doubly efficient than Ocon. So look, Alpine are back in the right driver. Many obvious reasons. Money being one of them.
Okay.
Racing Bulls, open bracket, V-Carb, closed bracket.
Did Yuki do enough to earn that Red Bull seat over Lawson?
Yes. But
We can move on.
no, he is. He's another. I don't know, fallen soldier in the long line of junior Red Bull drivers.
You know he only gets paid $1 million to race
Does he really?
for racing bulls. $1 million.
Well, I wonder how much Honda are paying him.
I was going to say, it seems like most of his money's coming from elsewhere.
Only $1 million.
But
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like, it's the junior team for what it's designed for and fails at miserably.
Yeah.
Makes sense. They only get paid a little bit of money, but yeah, he over Lawson, he absolutely should have got that seat. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Daniel Ricciardo should have got that seat, but well, I'm talking about him right now. So.
Well, look, usually it's the driver who brings the best results or
You filled me.
the best cash that gets the seat.
Hmm.
And Lawson doesn't appear to be either of those.
Yeah, I was
So-
going to say, I'm not sure what New Zealand cash got behind him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure,
So-
but I doubt it's less. It's more than than Yuki.
Maybe he just asked for more money because he's not got any Honda
Yeah.
persuasion.
Yeah.
So Yuki
Mm-hmm.
outscored Daniel Ricciardo and Liam Lawson combined by 46.6%.
That's nuts, eh? That is nuts. That
Sixth
Red Bull just
closest-
overlooked him.
Sixth closest matchup.
Interesting to somebody.
So Yuki,
I'm
so 30 points. His teammates 16.
Well done. Well done. And that is why you're the co-host.
Mate, I got these numbers together.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I wanted you to be impressed. I thought I'd blow your mind that I
You're gonna have to try harder than that. I'm not
numbers
that
into
easy.
a percentage.
I'm not that easy.
You sound easy every other day.
So why was F1's most popular driver not given a send-off? Of course, we're talking about Daniel Ricciardo.
You didn't have to tell me. I don't know. It's a travesty.
I
I'm
mean,
not emotional, but
I went back and watched his last interview on at Singapore.
Yeah.
We'll get to you.
You asked me the question. I was going to answer it.
I wanted to let it marinate.
No. You go. I'll listen, I guess.
He knew. He knew he'd driven his last drive. He knew
Oh,
it
they
was
all
over.
they all made it sound like he knew. I don't know why they wouldn't. Yeah, put a show together for him. Oh well. Yeah. I won't ever get it. It sucks. Like knowing now, like, all right, I guess he's not coming back.
He's been out of the media and the limelight ever since. Like we haven't really seen
Absolutely.
anything from him. He's definitely hasn't been a part of the paddock.
No.
Um,
Like you said, even social media. Like I don't know. You don't see him
no.
anywhere doing anything. And there's a couple of talks about the Cadillac,
Which I don't see happening.
As far as I'm aware, he's just been like he's just done.
Fair. I don't see him coming back for that. I think whatever has occurred between him and Red Bull this season, it appears that it's left quite a bad taste in his mouth. And I don't know, like it's all speculation. Maybe we'll learn about what happened. Maybe nothing even happened. But I don't know, part of me wonders how much of it is a bit of revenge from Red Bull and Christian Horner after Ricciardo blindsided them, jumped ship, kind of stabbed in the back a little bit. Was how much of it was like a little bit of revenge shanking?
It's a bit rough to just end someone's career.
I mean, he was a multiple race winner. He had quite a bit of success
Yeah.
with Red Bull. Gave him some pretty iconic moments, and like I said, biggest personality on the grid.
Oh, huge.
Doesn't get a send off of any kind. We can give Hamilton
Yeah.
a team changeover send off. What the fuck is that?
Joe, when you got a chance to do the rest of the season, and no send off, mind you, but like everyone knew, this is it now. Same with Bottas, like, but yeah,
he got his moment in China.
The most popular driver in years gets nothing. I mean, he's so popular that Bottas had to be like, I guess I have to be Australian to get some popularity behind me.
Yeah. Brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it?
Well, so I've got some. So I'll give you some Ricciardo stats here.
Well, hang on. Before you get to that,
Okay.
it is a very unsatisfying end to his career.
Absolutely.
I mean, how many late nights did you stay up just for the hope to see a little bit of Ricciardo's success in his bid to become Australia's next world champion since Alan Jones in 1980?
Many. In 2013, I remember. Or got a very vivid memory of watching that Canadian Grand Prix. Mind you, I didn't watch it at 4 a.m.
2014? His
2014. Yeah. Damn it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, I remember watching that, but I didn't watch it live because Canada's on at stupid o'clock in the morning over here. So, I remember watching it the next morning and had no idea, obviously. Watching it for the first time, didn't know the result or nothing. Very exciting. And he reeled off through that year. So
one thing I won't miss is watching him in those post-race interviews, just looking lost and defeated.
Oh, this last couple of years, yeah.
Just it felt like
just the same old thing as well. Like the back of it is McLaren stint. Just I'd still rather see him on the grid. Yeah, but very sad.
Yeah, I mean, like if you compare him to other drivers on the grid right now or in 2024. It seems wrong that there's drivers that are there and he wasn't. But he made a very clear choice. He didn't want to race for a lower tier team. I can understand that to a point. But I think that shows maybe a bigger picture of he just didn't have the passion he once did for it. Like if you just all you want to do is drive and all you want to do is just be on the grid and you just want to like give yourself any opportunity to be in a cockpit, why wouldn't you just take whatever you can and just see what you can make out of it? But he didn't want to do that. And he only wanted to be at the top competing. If he was going to do it, he wanted to be, I guess, have a genuine chance to fight for a title. But that just wasn't going to happen, you know?
No.
So,
no. Just give him a send-off. Yeah, like give the most popular driver
fans at least.
Exactly right. Like,
what are we doing?
That doesn't make any sense.
Hit me with some career stats.
All right, so he's got 14 seasons. In total. Decent. 257 starts. Don't know where that stacks up. Sounds like a lot. 1,329 points. Again, I don't know. Sounds like a lot. 8 Grand Prix wins. Falls one shy of Mark Webber.
I was going to say, that's the one that probably gets me.
You think he'd have more.
You'd think he'd have more.
And we got that magic 8 in Monza with McLaren. So
it really was that shift away from Red Bull, moving to Renault. No success in Renault. Definitely cost him. McLaren, how much was he a part of getting them to where they are now? Does he deserve any credit for that? Probably not. But he did get a race win. So that's something.
It's huge. 3 pole positions. Only 3.
Only 3.
But it was not. It was at Red Bull at their worst period, like right between success. So 32 Grand Prix podiums, 17 Grand Prix fastest laps. It's car number 3.
Damn. All right. So we thought since he didn't get a send-off, we'll give him a send-off. We'll rattle off the top 5 Big Rick energy moments.
The Honey Badger.
As a ode, tip of the hat to
one of the greats. One of the best Australia had to offer.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna miss him. I mean, as excited as I am for Piastri, future world champion Piastri, I'm gonna miss staying up late and watching Danny Rick. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's watching him on track. It was watching him post race, his banter with the boys, his big smile. I'll miss him for sure.
Let's do the top 5. So, number 1, His redemption at Monaco win in 2018 after the heartbreak in 2016.
Huge.
Iconic. Yeah. Lives in my mind, rent free. Number 2, delivering McLaren's first win since 2012 at Monza in 2021,
Huge.
despite Norris's bitching.
Anyway,
That alone is
I
a
don't
feat.
even want to think about Norris being in that equation.
Yeah, that's true. I'll just
It's cross that out.
Number 3, Danny Rick's first champagne shower with his maiden win at the
2014.
Canadian Grand Prix.
You have to rub it in. God.
Just want to remind the people why I'm the host here. Number 4, licking the stamp and sending it in Baku 2017 with a triple pass and his 5th career victory.
2017.
Yeah.
Wow. 8 years ago.
Yeah, right. Just that doesn't seem that long ago.
Only
But he was-
to rack up 2 more race wins in that period of time.
Well, I was going to say he was in a Red Bull. So
He was.
number 5, the shoey.
Iconic.
Yeah, it's going to be missed. It's going to be missed in Formula One. I don't see anyone else carrying on that tradition necessarily.
No one in Formula One can do that.
No.
No other driver could do that.
No. So in his honour, we thought we'd do a shoey.
We'll do it, shall we?
Yep.
Let's do it.
What do you got there? The Vans, are they?
Vans, yeah. Thought I'd try and get my...
Pull out the old AE
You
ones.
don't need to flex. Jeez.
Oh, hang on. Cheers. Cheers to Danny Rick. Oh,
Isn't that a good sound?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Headset off?
Yeah, I'm taking my headset off for this. Ready? To Danny Rick.
Williams.
Was 2024 another lost year for a lost team?
Yes. Williams are the saddest team on the grid.
Yeah, they are sad, aren't they?
They got no future prospects, nothing on the horizon. And the team's just being driven further away from its history, its legacy.
Yeah, I mean, if you never watched like a F1 doco, about them and what they did in previous eras, you almost wouldn't believe that they were like one of the most.
I know the history and I still don't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... I mean, yeah, since Sir Frank died and his daughter sold the team, I mean, they removed the Senate S recently. Like, why? Why? Just leave that on there. Let the legacy be what it is. I think it's time that they not sell the team, because it's already happened. Change the name, move it away
Retire
from
the name.
Oxfordshire.
Yeah.
Just start fresh. As sad as it'll be to not have a Williams, but it's just a name now, and they're tarnishing that legacy. So
Yeah, I mean, if there's any racing pedigree still left, it is long gone in
I
the
don't
past.
think the fans would become with pitchforks if they decide to change
I mean,
the name.
are there any fans?
I don't know.
If
If there is, they're going to be like, okay,
they've gone back into the closet if they are.
thank you for giving me an opportunity to not support you anymore. That's probably what they're thinking.
It's a shame. It is a sad thing. Like that they right there with your McLaren and your Ferrari as these.
One of the biggest. Well, they're a legacy team. They're massive.
So it would be a shame to lose that, but at some point it's kind of like, what are we doing? I don't like. Is it management? Is it personnel? Is it drivers? Is it everything? Like, they just need to shake it up over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see a comeback season for Williams. I don't know what the fuck that looks like, but it would be nice to sit here and talk about them genuinely competing for a drivers or a constructors championship and just being back in that conversation with, those top teams that are up there now.
Yeah. I mean, it's been...
Just as there's only one can win, only one can lose, And like...
Well, oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and
Half
like...
the grid are losers, but technically, yeah.
Technically, but there's always, someone's got to come last, someone's got to come second last, someone's got to come third last.
Williams are just really good at coming last.
They are, yeah.
It's astounding.
That's one positive. They're the best at
You know what they are winning at?
sucking.
Crash damage.
That's a sore topic. I mean, it's probably why they can't sell the team. It's probably not worth
They
anything.
haven't paid the bills off yet.
Yeah.
You got to buy the cars, plus you got to inherit the debt.
Well, I mean, would you say Sargent being dropped for crash damage was hypocritical in the end?
Well, clearly.
I mean, you can't keep a driver that crashy around, but then the next driver you bring in is just as crashy.
His teammate is doubly as crashy.
Well, yeah, I mean,
They clearly use him as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Albon, the vet, the team leader, the previous Red Bull driver, legend in his own right, Filipino specialist, comes second in the,
Crash damage total.
the Constructors Championship. 4.6 million euros against his name.
It is funny, to think, everyone remembers Sargent for his damage bill, and then everyone knows how volatile Colapinto was in that Williams, but Alex doesn't quite get as lumped into that as the other two guys for some reason.
No, 100%.
But racked up the same bill as both of those dudes combined. So
do you want to know that reason?
Hit me. Impress me.
Albon outscored his teammates combined by 58.3%.
Yeah, okay.
So when the fourth best differential. He had 12 points to his teammates combined 5.
Yeah.
In 5 less races, Colapinto saved the team $200,000 in crash damage. Less than Sargent managed to rake up.
Well, according to my chart, Colapinto, $1 million salary.
Is that per race or
It's just
total? He doesn't stack up to doing, does he? A little bit shy in the penny department
Well,
per race.
he got 5 points. So that's $200K per point.
I don't remember the circumstances around him getting those points, but
Doesn't matter. He's got those 5 points, right?
Does that mean when I put
It's my time.
Albon's teammates
It's my time.
combined, it was actually just Colapinto scoring points?
It was because Sargent 0 points for $1 million also.
So he got paid $1 million for way more work.
There was only one driver who was less efficient than him, and we'll get to him.
Okay.
But Alex Albon, $3 million contracts, modest. It's probably what you would expect someone of his caliber to be paid in that sort of a team.
He's probably getting paid more than he was at Red Bull.
So that is very true. 250K per point. 15th, less efficient than Colapinto. Now, usually I'd say that probably doesn't mean much, but Williams probably need every fucking dollar they can get.
Yeah.
So
Their bonus isn't getting wins. Their bonus is not crashing.
yeah.
You don't crash. Hey, that money we would have spent on that chassis.
Yeah. So speaking of Colapinto, is he a super sub or a worthy full-time driver?
Well, I mean, I hope he's a super sub for Jack's sake. But yeah. Also, I reckon he's going to be the next Nick DeVries. And he's already proved to effectively be. He come in, a couple of good races here and there, and then just proved to be
Built a little bit of
chaos after that. Yeah. And probably cost him. It's probably the reason he's not on the grid this year. I mean, it felt like at one point Williams were about to just go, Carlos, thanks and all. Here's your couple of mil. I want you to go. We want Colapinto in.
It happened very quick, didn't it?
But then, all of a sudden, Crash City. And
Williams turned into that Homer Simpson meme where just started
back in the
hedges.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris, do you wanna? Yeah, no, I don't. I think he's a super sub. Don't get me wrong. For that one race, unfortunately, he ruined it by coming back for the next 8. Just racking up.
He should have just declined every offer from then.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm waiting for a race seat next year.
Absolutely.
All right, that's enough of Williams. Let's talk about Haas.
Ha!
No Gunther, no change. They just missed 6th in the Constructors, but they did beat Racing Bulls, Williams, and Sauber. I think that says something. It proved to be their second best season.
Okay.
You know, for
I feel like that's where they should be.
yeah,
I feel like Racing Bulls They probably had a down year, to be honest. They probably should be ahead of them. But the other two,
Racing Bulls, you'd expect to be ahead
they
of them.
probably should be a
And
little bit ahead. Yeah.
Williams, for all the reasons that we just discussed, really shouldn't be rolling around in the mud with these teams. So I think it says more about Haas than it does Williams or whoever.
I'm sure they're having a great time over there. I'm sure Gene's stoked. Like.
Yeah. Well, good news for him. Partnering up with Toyota and MoneyGram means he doesn't have to fork out as much money from his own pocket. Thank God.
And that's what motor racing is about.
Thank God. Yeah.
That's what motor racing is about.
Man can eat.
I'm sure he's I'm sure it's just real load off his mind. It's like, oh, that Formula One team I own. Oh, yeah, cool, whatever.
Wait, it's going to turn a profit?
Yeah. I've got to add that thing.
Yeah.
I thought Gunther took it.
Look, moving on from K-Mag and Hulkenberg can only bring good things. They had a decent 2024. I think they're probably right where you would expect them to be, maybe just a notch higher. I think they're moving in the right direction. Getting rid of those drivers. Like, I mean, just thinking about Hulkenberg, like, how is Hulkenberg still on the grid? And again, guys like Ricciardo aren't there. Like, Hulkenberg.
I really can't pretend to care about Haas, to be honest.
Yeah, okay, fair
But
enough. Yep.
K-Mag.
Except for this 1 point.
K-Mag, he carried them. 41 points.
Mm.
Outscoring his teammate by 60.9%.
I didn't look into it, but he might have had his best season in 2024. It just feels like that. Like, he had a lot of good results.
Well, what did you say? It's their second best season. What was their first best? But you didn't check.
I did, but I forgot because I just didn't care enough.
That's true.
Mm.
I don't know if
I'm pretty sure he was in it, and I think it was with Grosjean. I think.
Sounds like we don't know enough to talk about it.
Yeah.
But you're probably right, but you're probably not right at the same time. I mean, he raced at McLaren, but they were pretty shit at the time, so probably didn't do too much there either.
Yeah. So any other points on Haas or no?
Nah, I'm done with Haas.
Well, K-Mag was getting paid 5 mil, so his cost per point was 313, 19th most efficient, which I don't think you can call that efficient. But Hulkenberg had a great performance, 41 points on a modest $2 million contract. So that made him the 4th most efficient driver on the grid with $49,000 per point.
Yeah, right.
That's exactly what Haas need. So it is kind of funny that they dropped him.
Well, they dropped both of them, so I guess they
dropped both of them. But you'd have to look at that performance in terms of cost versus points and where they finished in the constructors, and you'd have to be happy with that. Surely, for a small team.
Again, I'm sure they're just reveling in the success.
You want to talk
I'm sure they put a banner up.
You want to talk about success?
Are you flipping back to the start?
Let's talk about Sauber.
Okay.
Sauber.
What have you got? Anything?
They got 4 points.
Yep.
Those 4 points were not scored by their $10 million.
Can you imagine finishing on donuts?
Yeah, well, I'm guessing that means Bottas was the only actual real full timer to not score a point. By the sounds of that,
He was.
$10 million. I'm sure I don't want to step on your toes here. I've just got it written here as well. He got paid $10 million, and he's not the man for them to get their points.
No, I can't help but think of it like, did Bottas waste a season to get paid $10 million from Sauber?
Or did he waste a season in his career, or did he say waste
in his career? In his career.
What was he going to do? Turn it down and retire a year earlier?
Or did he pull off the greatest unnoticed heist of all time? $10 million for 0 points.
He's doing a Ben Simmons, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let me sign that contract.
Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid?
Yeah, both.
Yeah. At least he entered the Grand Prix, right?
Yeah.
At least he was there.
At least he was there. He was pretending.
It's a shame that car doesn't perform as hot as it looks. You know,
I don't think it looks that good, hey?
I do. I think
black and green. It's a bit.
I don't know. I think it looks striking.
I think the Sauber looked literally 100 times better as an Alfa Romeo.
That was a good looking car.
It's a great looking car.
Yeah. Anyway, they might have wasted one of the best liveries on the grid. Because
Yes,
there's a lot of bad
I
deliveries
disagree.
out there.
I
But
don't think it's a good livery.
it's eye-catching.
You
right?
must be a fan of
It's
green.
eye-catching for a
You're a
reason.
green fan? You like green?
I'm not phased. Not fussed.
So you don't have a favourite colour?
Can I get my point out?
All right. I'm not liking it because the livery is not good.
Well, I'm
That's
just... Okay,
You
alright.
can like it. I'm just disagreeing. that's
I'm
all.
just saying, they went to all this effort to make this very striking looking vehicle,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
Very eye-catching.
I'm sure they spent a lot of money.
Looked angry.
Don't get me wrong.
Looked angry.
I'd be angry.
Just to be a lap down every Grand Prix and have no airtime. 0.
Hmm. Do they have sponsors?
Steak
Okay.
or green.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Audi are just like chomping at the bit to get their hands on it.
Yeah.
Well, luckily for Valtteri,
Well, hey, if you can't do any math, 10 million
hang on.
salary for 0 points meant he was the most inefficient driver on the grid
10
at a
million.
cost of $10 million for no points.
Luckily for Bottas, I can't multiply by 0. So his 4-point deficit, can't paint him in a bad light with it. It's the only team and driver I can't get a percentage on.
You just love the honorary Australian in him.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
He's holidaying over here. He's loving it. Well, wouldn't you?
That's 2024 done.
In the past.
Yep. 2025
On
next
the
week.
horizon.
Yep.
Mm.
You want to come around and have a chat?
Yeah, we'll come around and have a chat.
Yeah.
Do a little sneaky preseason pod.
Hopefully you can do better than what you did tonight.
I think it was alright.
That's all right.
Why are you going to be so mean?
You know I love you.
Alright, I want to go home. Can we wrap this up?
All right. GG's.
Yeah.
I'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
All right.
Game over.